Our world, this extraordinary blue marble suspended in the vastness of space, is governed by forces we often take for granted. The gentle breeze, the nourishing rain, the warmth of the sun on our skin, these are the familiar rhythms of our planet's atmosphere. But what happens when these familiar patterns are disrupted? When the very air around us behaves in ways that defy our understanding? We are about to embark on a journey to the fringes of meteorology, to explore the moments when nature puts on its most baffling and spectacular displays. Today we will uncover 10 strange weather phenomena you've never heard of. These are not tales from science fiction, but real, documented events that occur on our planet, often hidden from view, or so fleeting they are missed in the blink of an eye. From ethereal lights dancing on a ship's mast, to storms that rage for centuries, each phenomenon tells a unique story about the intricate and powerful systems that shape our world. They are reminders that even in our modern age of scientific discovery, the Earth still holds profound mysteries. I invite you to join me on this expedition into the unknown. Each chapter will reveal a new wonder, a new puzzle presented by our planet's ever-changing climate. Be sure to stay with me until the very end, for our final phenomenon is perhaps the most bewildering of all, a moment so surreal it seems to belong to a different world entirely. Let us begin our exploration into the bizarre and beautiful weather of planet Earth. In the realm of atmospheric electricity, few things are as elusive or as debated as ball lightning. Imagine, during a thunderstorm, not a jagged bolt, but a luminous, floating sphere of light. It can be the size of a golf ball or as large as a beach ball, drifting silently through the air, sometimes even passing through solid walls and windows. This is not a figment of imagination. It is a phenomenon that has been reported for centuries, yet it remains one of science's most persistent riddles. Its appearance is utterly unpredictable, its duration fleeting, often lasting just a few seconds, before silently vanishing or exploding with a startling bang. The rarity of ball lightning makes it incredibly difficult to study. We cannot summon it in a laboratory or predict where it will next appear. Our knowledge is built almost entirely upon the accounts of eyewitnesses. In the northwest corner of Venezuela, where the Catatumbo River empties into Lake Maracaibo, nature puts on a light show of unparalleled proportions. This is the home of the Catatumbo lightning, a phenomenon so persistent it is known as the everlasting storm. For up to 300 nights a year, for as long as 10 hours a night, the sky is silently illuminated by an almost continuous succession of lightning flashes. It is a storm that never truly seems to end, that has been occurring for centuries, acting as a natural lighthouse for sailors navigating the treacherous waters of the lake. This is not your typical thunderstorm. The flashes often arc from cloud to cloud, high in the atmosphere, and remarkably, they are often silent. The sheer frequency is what is most astonishing. At its peak, the storm can produce over 280 flashes per hour. This spectacle is visible from hundreds of kilometers away, a constant silent flickering on the horizon. The indigenous Wayu people believed the flashes were the spirits of their ancestors. Rain is the lifeblood of our planet, a symbol of cleansing and renewal. We imagine it as pure, clear water falling from the heavens. But what if the sky opened up and began to weep a crimson red? This is not a scene from a biblical plague, but a documented meteorological event known as blood rain. Throughout history, reports have emerged of downpours that stain the ground buildings, everything they touch, with a startling, rusty red hue. For ancient civilizations, it was a terrifying omen, a sign of divine wrath, impending disaster. Today, science offers a less supernatural but no less fascinating explanation for this colorful precipitation. The primary culprit behind most instances of blood rain is dust. Not just any dust, but fine, mineral-rich particles swept up from arid and desert regions by powerful winds. The Sahara Desert, the largest hot desert in the world, is a major source. Storms there can lift vast quantities of reddish-orange sand and dust high into the atmosphere. On a clear, high sun day, you might be lucky enough to witness one of the sky's most beautiful and honestly misnamed illusions, the so-called fire rainbow. But, this phenomenon is not a rainbow, nor is it related to fire at all. Its proper name is a circumhorizontal arc. It's an optical spectacle created by sunlight interacting with ice crystals high in the atmosphere. Unlike a traditional rainbow opposite the sun, a fire rainbow runs parallel to the horizon as a vibrant, multicolored band. It's often so broad and intense it looks like a brushstroke of color across the sky. The conditions for it are incredibly specific, which is why it's such a rare sight. First, the sun must be very high, more than 58 degrees above the horizon. That limits it to mid-latitudes in summer and makes it impossible north of about 55 degrees, places like Scandinavia or Alaska. The sky must contain high-altitude cirrus clouds. Beneath the frigid, still waters of the Earth's polar seas, a bizarre and honestly deadly weather phenomenon takes shape. It's not atmospheric but oceanic. It's known as a brinicle, a portmanteau of brine icicle, and it's earned a darker nickname, the Icy Finger of Death. A brinicle is an underwater icicle, a hollow tube of ice that grows downwards from the underside of the sea ice toward the seabed. It's a slow, creeping tendril of absolute cold, and any slow-moving creature on the seafloor that it touches, like a starfish or a sea urchin, is instantly encased in a tomb of ice. The formation of a brinicle is driven by salt and temperature. When seawater freezes to form sea ice, it undergoes brine rejection. Imagine being a mariner centuries ago, caught in a violent thunderstorm on the high seas. Your ship is being tossed by colossal waves, the sky is black, and rain is just lashing down. Then, right in the middle of all this chaos, a strange ethereal light appears. It's a silent, cold fire, a ghostly blue glow, a ghostly violet glow that clings to the tips of the ship's masts and rigging. This is St. Elmo's fire, a weather phenomenon that has mystified and honestly terrified sailors for millennia. It was often seen as a good omen, a sign that the patron saint of sailors, St. Elmo, was watching over them. Despite its fiery name and appearance, St. Elmo's fire is not fire at all. It's actually a plasma, a fourth state of matter. It occurs during thunderstorms when the ground or an object on the ground, like a ship's mast or a church steeple, develops a strong electrical charge. The atmosphere itself acts as an insulator, but in the intense electric field generated by a thundercloud above, this insulation can break down. The powerful voltage difference between the cloud and the ground tears electrons from the air molecules surrounding the sharp-pointed object. This process, known as corona discharge, creates a luminous plasma. In the cold heart of winter, when rivers begin to freeze, a strange and captivating formation can sometimes appear on the water's surface. It is a perfect, or near-perfect circle of ice, spinning slowly in the current. They are ice circles, also known as ice disks, or ice pans. They can range in size from a small plate to a colossal disk over 15 meters in diameter, rotating like a slow, natural carousel. Their perfect symmetry and gentle motion give them an otherworldly quality, as if sculpted by an unseen artist rather than the simple mechanics of water and ice. The creation of an ice circle is a beautiful example of physics at work in nature. They tend to form in the bends of rivers where the current creates a slow-moving, swirling vortex known as an eddy. As the temperature drops, ice begins to form on the surface. Small pieces of ice called frazzle ice clump together. In a typical, straight-flowing river, this would simply form a sheet or be carried downstream. But within the gentle, rotational current of an eddy, the clump of ice begins to slowly spin. This spinning motion is the key to its shape. As the disk rotates, its edges are constantly grinding against the surrounding stationary ice or colder water. There are clouds, and then there are clouds that seem to defy all logic. Among the rarest and most spectacular of these are the morning glory clouds. These are not your typical fluffy cumulus or wispy cirrus. A morning glory is a tremendously long, tube-shaped roll cloud, sometimes stretching for 1,000 kilometers from end to end. They can appear as a single, perfect tube or in successive waves, rolling across the sky at speeds of up to 60 kilometers per hour, maintaining their distinct cylindrical shape. They are solitary waves, or solitons, rolling through the atmosphere. These magnificent formations are incredibly rare, and there is only one place in the world where they can be predicted and observed with any regularity: the remote Gulf of Carpentaria in northern Australia. Here, typically in the spring months of hail is a familiar if unwelcome feature of severe thunderstorms. We are accustomed to pea-sized, marble-sized stones of ice that rattle against our windows and dent our cars. But under exceptionally violent atmospheric conditions, a thunderstorm can become a factory for hailstones of terrifying proportions. We are talking about ice falling from the sky the size of baseballs, softballs, grapefruits. These are not merely stones, they are colossal projectiles, capable of causing catastrophic damage, serious injury, even death. They are a stark demonstration of the immense power held within a supercell thunderstorm. The formation of such giant hail requires a very specific and violent set of circumstances. It begins with a powerful updraft, a column of air rising so fast, sometimes over 160 kilometers per hour, that it can suspend large objects high within the thundercloud. Of all the strange tales of weather, perhaps none is more surreal, more utterly bewildering than the phenomenon of animal rain. Imagine a storm cloud passing overhead, and instead of water, what falls from the sky are fish frogs, even spiders. This is not a myth or a fable. Reports of non-aqueous rain, as it is scientifically known, have been documented for centuries, across numerous cultures and continents. It is an event that seems to break the fundamental rules of nature, a moment where the sky itself seems to deliver a bounty of living creatures. The explanation, however, is not supernatural, but meteorological. The key to this bizarre occurrence lies in a specific type of weather event, a waterspout. A waterspout is essentially a tornado that forms over a body of water. While some are true tornadoes that move from land to sea, many are fair-weather waterspouts that form on the surface of the water and build upwards. We have journeyed through storms that never cease, witnessed fires that do not burn, seen life itself fall from the clouds. These 10 phenomena are but a glimpse into the Earth's capacity for the strange and the sublime. They remind us that the world is governed by intricate laws of physics and chemistry, which, under the right conditions, can conspire to produce spectacles that defy our everyday experience. They are a call to curiosity, urging us to look closer at the world around us, to question, to explore, to marvel at the forces that shape our existence. The beauty of our planet lies not just in its familiar landscapes, but in its anomalies, its rare and fleeting moments of impossible wonder. Have you ever witnessed something you couldn't explain? A strange light in the sky, an unusual cloud formation, or perhaps a moment of weather that seemed to belong to another world? Please, share your stories in the comments below.